Everything's plugged in. All right, now you can stand up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. All right, we do have a quorum. Glenn is out, right? Or he's online? Okay, Glenn, so we have a full board tonight. Yeehaw. I want to first thank everybody for coming out tonight. I appreciate you guys' attendance, and we will get to everybody to the best of our ability. I will make a motion for the approval of the agenda. Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Agenda looks okay, all in favor? Oh,
Glenn has, oh, Glenn, you're on mute.
Now I'm good. John just sent you a text. The committee is in, no unanimous or decisions on what we were discussing. So
You just need to add the items to the agenda right now.
we do.
So you want to amend the agenda to add your security technology committee updates for.
what are we doing? Adding?
I'd rather just leave it for the committee discussion at that point, because we're going to we'll have another meeting this week or early next, and next month have some decisions.
Perfect. All right, so all in favor of the agenda signify with an aye.
Aye.
Good, Glenn? All opposed? I didn't hear what you said. Glenn? Did you get the vote?
Yeah, he's good.
Okay. All right. I will make them, well, I wasn't here, so I won't make that motion. I will entertain a motion for the approval of the board meeting motions, February 19th. There a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motions from the board meeting on February 19th, 2024, signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes unanimously. There is a link in the agenda to the recording from last month that anybody can download and watch. 3 minutes from new topics and agenda items. Lisa Brosco.
Hey,
Lisa, can you come on up, just up here? Thank you.
I'm sorry, I lost my voice, so I'm gonna try to get through this. Good evening, my name is Lisa Brocksmith. I hope each of you have had a chance to read my email from March the 4th regarding the 1% sales fees suggested by a resident. As realtors and ambassadors to the Raintree, we want to keep our community safe, beautiful, and most of all, values. Our Missouri Constitution is written that no city or state can place a transfer property fee on a property owner. That would be like double taxation. Talking to my realtor peers this past week about this issue has been very interesting. One said, who would want to buy a lot or Raintree in Raintree Plantation when you're guaranteed to lose 1% at purchase or at time of closing? Another one said price values will go down if this fee is placed. Another said, think about someone losing their health or losing your spouse within the first year of ownership. The equity of your house would possibly be gone and become a hardship. Another Raintree realtor said, we'll lose out on You will lose out on corporate transfer employees that work in the St. Louis area and get transferred to another town within 1 to 2 years. Another one said, is your community sold out? Well, we all know about the hundreds of lots for sale by the Jefferson County assessor rate. Disclosure is the big black hole here. This would all need to be immediately disclosed to owners, buyers, and sellers of this proposed ballot item. If the board chooses to put this on the ballot as an item, all forms with ACC would have to have a 1% negative effect and equity disclosure regarding this 1% fee. Forms that come in mind are boathouses, seawalls, fences, flat work, new house, etc. All MLS listings would need to be disclosed at this 1% fee. Ask yourself this: do you think the new homes being built on the lakefront this past year would have chosen to be built here? Would they were given no choice about their equity or 1% investment loss on their $880,000 lakefront home. Examples should be given on this. If a lake house sells for $780,000, this fee is $7,800 that has to be paid to Raintree Plantation. The cost to the seller will be devastating, which again makes the house values drop and equity lost. The quotes of the board meeting videos and on Facebook posts are being pitched that this is a no cost to the community. This language is trickery because of all the points I've made. So I'm asking you, as board members of Raintree, is this the legacy that you want to leave on your vote? Why would you put this item on our ballot? Please vote no to this idea. Protect our equity in Raintree Plantation. Please remember what was written into our Missouri Constitution. Please be a leader, not a follower. Vote no. And I do really appreciate all of your service and for volunteering to be board members. Thank you.
Thank you. Kim Seaball.
I don't have to fight it formal. I came up with some ideas, but I too am here to address the proposed assessment and why, from a realtor standpoint, this is not a good idea for our community, and that's for the buyers and the sellers. First thing is loans that are given to people, FHA, USDA, VA loans, those loans will not exist anymore because you cannot put a special fee from a buyer standpoint on those loans. The underwriters will not accept them. So that's one thing you have to realize is that that's going to eliminate those type of loans. And I know that the people on the lake are usually convention, but everybody else off the lake, those are the people that are the FHA, the VA, and you'll do away with those loans, and that will really hurt our community. So let's see. So that basically leaves cash and conventional loans, and not many people. And I don't know what you guys know about loans, but not a lot of people can afford them. We also feel that this is going to be, and when I say we, I've been on the phone the past week with a lot of realtors discussing this. We feel that this would be a black eye to the community that has already experienced a lot of black eyes in the last 10 years. People don't want to move here because of the situation with the country club, the sewers, the lead in the soil, all the things that we have experienced. And this would be one more issue that would be brought up, and it's already spreading in the community because I'm having realtors that don't even live in Raintree call me and ask me about it because they've already heard and it's spreading. So I did a little bit of research during the time that the dues were like $1,000 for sections 20 through 25. The average day on the market for a home was 76 days. When that was settled in that same area, the market went down to 16 days. And that was even through the high interest rates that we've had. So that will show you how having the assessments back there higher, how it does affect the sales in this community. So in addition, just to kind of show you how Raintree does get perceived, one of the agents that I talked to had a buyer that was looking in Raintree, called up to the office, names, so, and I'm not here to throw names out, called up to the office, talked to somebody. The words were, everybody gets into everybody's business in Raintree. And so this person bought somewhere else. That is kind of a snowball effect of what's gonna happen with this. People are gonna buy in other communities. There are other lake communities in the Jefferson County area that have all basically stepped up over the last 10 years. So the Raintree is no longer necessarily the elite subdivision.
We can control the 1%, we can't control everybody.
I get that, trust me, that's why, the things I'm saying that go out, there was a subdivision in Peebly that for years had a PID, which is a special assessment because they were fixing roads. It lasted like 10 years, it was an additional fee for buyers. The home sales dropped in that community like 45% when that PID was instated in that subdivision. It's now passed and it's done. It's all been paid up, but the home sales did suffer in that subdivision. So even though I realize that you guys look at this as money coming into the subdivision from a board standpoint, you guys could all be sellers someday too. So that's money out of your pocket equity that you guys have put into your home. I know my husband built our home. We have probably the smallest home in Raintree for like $85,000. We've done a lot of work to it. It's worth about 200 now. So if we were to move, which we're not planning, we'd be giving you guys money for that sweat equity that we put into the home. And we just don't feel that that's right. Again, I have lots of real estate agents that I know are, you guys are probably gonna get inundated with emails from them because from a business standpoint, we just don't feel this is a good move for the community. So, but thank you guys also for your time. I have served on boards, I've been president. I know it's a thankless job, so we appreciate your time.
Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
time, Kim. I would like. One thing I'd like to say is in your email, you mentioned that you have other ways of making up this difference, so I will not take that right now, but in the open forum, if you could address that, I would appreciate, or this board would appreciate.
The difference,
Different ways to increase the assessments.
well,
So I don't want you to now, but in the open forum, I'll give
Sure.
you time to explain that. We're definitely curious about that as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Thank you. Ken Jarvis.
There's money that's been bet already, whether or not I can get this done in 3 minutes.
The gavel, the gavel.
What?
The gavel.
The gavel. My name's Ken Jarris. I am here to speak about Rever. I'm interested in learning more about the software applications. I am asking questions on behalf of the residents of Raintree who need to know what services we are getting from Rever, and in addition to our limited budget, how much it is costing us. I have a list of questions that I would like to be reviewed and answered at the April meeting.
If you could turn in, then we'll do
Yeah.
our
So,
best.
yeah, so I, rather than read out a bunch of questions and everything, and Tilly Jones going to email you
Oh,
thing that you guys can,
okay.
you can,
Back on.
Is this a subpoena?
and this, and just one thing,
Hey, don't laugh, it's happened.
just one thing more, this, my wife typed that up for me, she's so good. Speaking from the heart though now, it's coming up the summertime. And there's gonna be a lot of other stuff going on. We all need to let's just be nice to each other. Let's all respect each other. Let's treat everybody like you're the grandmother, grandfather, or, a brother or sister. That goes for
Disaster.
So question,
Hey, can you hear us now?
so does,
Glenn, can you hear us?
Wendy have updated?
Now it's back. Thank you.
That matches.
Yes.
Okay,
We just went through this, right before the meeting and everything,
Okay.
we should probably have a new one,
okay,
so.
so what we'll do, we'll just send that to the webmaster, okay?
So we are voting on the updated rules manual and we're waiting on your vote.
Didn't hear us, it's just the rules manual is updated with the ballot items that passed from September.
Okay, got that time. Aye.
All right,
Okay,
any objections? Okay, manual good. All right, ACC variance needed for 1.5 car garages at the building line. The overhang will be 1.5 feet over the building line and the back corner. Worst, I guess, that's.
Yes, this is a very old residence out here. It's at 9731 East Vista. And basically, the homeowner is wanting, it has no garage currently. And so the homeowner is wanting to put a garage on the home. It would be a 1.5 car garage because of the constraints. And one corner of it, forget, it's the overhang will be 1.5 feet over the building line on the back corner. So this was discussed by the ACC and unanimously voted to bring this to the board for a variance based on the fact that the home is there, that this is really the only option given the configuration, and I have the drawing here I can pass around.
So it's gonna overhang on that left side a little
The,
bit.
yes, the overhang will be one in it, so it's not the building, it's the overhang.
Is there a home next to it by chance?
I'm not that
Yes.
familiar with it. Is it?
There is. Are you the,
Yeah, I'm the owner.
have you discussed it with your neighbor at all?
No, I haven't.
That would be my only concern,
So I talked to Kurt about that. He said I didn't. He said just you guys.
I mean, we've approved greater, it's always a good.
Yeah, I think it's just the overhang, it's not the.
So it would be the back left corner would be, the building would be over by the overhang would make it a foot there.
Okay.
Give or take.
I would, just for your own purpose, I would say whatever we decide tonight, if it gets approved.
Oh, yeah.
let it know,
We've
just
definitely
touch
talked
base
to
with them.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, or if you want to make that.
I would, I would make a motion that the board grant a variance to Mr. Kimball at 9731 East Vista as approved and recommended by the Architectural Control Committee.
Is there a second? Second, any discussion? Homeowner gotta give the neighbor a case of beer.
Both neighbors or one neighbor?
These neighbors.
Whole community, every.
All in favor signify with an eye. All opposed. Motion passes unanimously. All right, lake treatment approval, porta potty rental, grass carpet introduction approval, and beach sand approval.
Sorry, I have a lot of things.
Is that four or is that?
It's four different things and it's fine.
Okay.
That's it. It's the only reason I bring them all at once.
Let's start out with the easiest first. How about the sand? I don't even know if we need a motion for that, do we?
I think, I called around to get, I mean, I spoke with Tom and Mike and we have been using Art Johnson. They provide us with good sand. We, at the last Lakes and Beaches committee, we talked about using sand that had been used in the lake prior for, like seawall construction and whatnot. And, we were told by people in the know that that is not a good idea. It's not the same kind of sand and it will reek forever and ever. So, and in fact, that individual told us not to take sand out of the water, but to backfill the beach again. We'll be sorry that we did that. So I yield to that. There's a tandem truckload of sand is $235 a piece. So we would like to order 6 or 7 tandem loads. And then a skid steer is about $350 a day when you have for 2 days. So all total, that's, if you look at the very back page of this packet I gave you, this small novel I gave you, sorry. It comes to $2,345. Now, if we had a community member who might allow us to use a skid steer in kind, I thought I saw. We wouldn't really want to use the skid steer though. It's really hard on this operating skid steer.
It's a rental, so if anybody wanted to, donate the time.
It'd be wonderful if somebody.
Whatever, it would be up to them.
But unless we hear from somebody, we think that 7 tandem loads of sand would get us probably close to where we need, if not close to it, if not where we need it. So it would be a total of $2,345. I don't know if that needed to come to the board or not, but asking the community for a skid steer, it made sense to ask at the board. So anybody,
On a rented skid steer, do you operate it?
We do.
We or you?
Matt. I mean, Matt likes to do it.
Well, I could lend one, but I don't know Matt, so I would rather you do it if I brought one down here.
As long as they have wheels and track.
Tracks,
Okay, well, we can talk.
all right. We'll let you know about the 2345. But it's approved, it's in the budget, right? Yeah.
It's below the marks.
All right. Grass carp introduction approval.
so we've been working with the Missouri Department of Conservation as well as a couple of other companies that do fish lake management, pond management. And the initial recommendation was somewhere between 2 and 4 fish per surface acre to help us get rid of some of their control the unwanted vegetation in our lakes. After researching this, we found that we really ought to limit it to 2 fish per surface acre initially. And then maybe it's more of an ongoing thing where you want to reintroduce more fish each year because it takes a couple of years to make a difference. They feed voraciously for a few years. And then once they get to full size, they stop eating. But they will really help control our vegetation without chemicals, without interfering. They're triploid, so they don't reproduce. If they spill over the spillway and get into the creek and eventually Big River in Mississippi, they're not going to cause a problem. We received 3 bids. One was significant. If you look at the spreadsheet, the one, they were $2,300 for 400 grass carp delivered and divided among the lakes. So around 250 of them for autumn, 100 and a little over 100 for spring. And then the others between winter and summer lakes. Their price was the best. We've been using Kerrville for a number of years, but they beat Kerrville quite considerably. They also beat Aquatic Control's price. Brian Fink was the one getting the bids. He's worked with this company. In fact, I think they often provide the carp for the other companies that we were contacting. They're like the big fish producer or stocker in the state. So I brought it here because I know we have fish stocking in the budget, but I felt this was significantly different and wanted to be sure that everybody understood what it is and what we're asking. And it's a long-term plan. We start with 2 fish per surface acre this year, and then we probably continue to add 1 fish per surface acre for several years to come, because it's a, you just have to do that. They wear out their effectiveness over time.
Is that in the budget? Yes. So that's approved as well, and thanks for the.
That'll come out of our fish stocking budget. We will not be stocking any game fish or feeder fish this year because we have these other projects going on that it doesn't make sense to put those fish in there right now.
So Nemo was who you're
Yeah.
going with?
Plus there was no delivery cost either, they were
No, that's
included
the
in the price.
delivery, that's the delivery cost, that's splitting them up, that's everything. They come to this area all the time. They know Brian well, and they say, yeah, we'll make that deal for you.
We're gonna pick up almost $10,000 in the budget off that, because we put in $12,000 at the high, at what.
That was for fish stocking, that was to buy bass and that was,
I thought
was that for grass carp? Okay,
We did a lot more grass carp than we did.
well,
And
we were initially planning on around 4 grass carp per surface acre, but following recommendations of the Department of Conservation and others, we've decided to cut that way back.
All right,
We will have this probably on an annual basis. Porta potties.
yes,
So I understand that the community is quite happy with First Stop, who is a local family-owned company that we've been using currently. We contacted them and some other companies. I had a grid on there.
Yeah.
I had a grid from all the bids. So this is an estimate because they're all hesitant to give you any bid because they don't want to be held to that. They have charges, they'll tell you what their charges are, but they won't give us a final number. But First Stop and Reliable On-Site are very similar as far as the cost of the units. Reliable is a little higher. First Stop's delivery fees and recovery fees are less. They all charge for additional cleanings and additional units. I made up a estimate, if you will, based on using the First Stop company at 6 28-day cycles. They don't bill monthly, but on 28-day cycles. Units that are used all summer can be prorated if we go into a 7th cycle. But when we rent an extra unit for Labor Day, Memorial Day, and 4th of July, we have to rent them for 30 days, and we do get charged a delivery and recovery fee. I also, when they come out, if they do an extra cleaning, which they usually do the day before the holiday weekend start, when they deliver those others, they try to clean all 3 of the toilets that are already at the beach at $45 a piece, and it makes sense. And so I kind of put together what I thought would be, using 4 units for 6 billing cycles. Standard, that's 1 at the boat ramp, 1 at the pavilion, 2 at the beach, a wheelchair accessible unit at the beach, the delivery, the pickup, the additional cleaning, and then those additional units used those 3 holidays. And I came up with $5,675. It could be more than that if we require additional cleanings, if somehow they get horribly dirty or
Blown up.
or if we have any damages, that's our responsibility too. But so this is my estimate. I mean, none of the 3 companies would give us a number. Even though I told them exactly what I wanted, they said, well, we can tell you what we charge for each unit and for how long, and they're all on a 28-day billing cycle. The other company was Countrywide, and their costs were twice as much. So I would make the motion that we approve $5,675 to First Stop to provide those 4 porta potties, that 1 wheelchair porta potty, or a minimum of 6 28-day billing cycles with an additional unit Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day at the beach. Do I need, I can expand on that if you
We
want.
do, no, that's good enough. I do, well, you made the motion.
I
right?
also would like to add to that, either the treasurer or myself be the ones who can authorize additional cleanings,
Okay,
because we're the two on the hook for the money. Or, yeah.
I will second that for the purpose of discussion. Is there anybody here that goes to the beach regularly or frequently? You guys? Have we ever seen a wheelchair in the handicapped one or somebody using it that is handicapped?
I typically go during the week when there's not a big crowd, so you'll want a weekender to answer that question. I would like a clarification though before you move on, but
Sure.
go ahead and do that one.
Anybody?
The only time I've seen people in there is people with kids, because there's space for a parent and a child in it. Because I personally.
The reason I ask that is the standard unit is 113 versus 162. It's not the end of the world, but I'm just thinking, do we really need it?
Yeah, it's $40 times 6, so it's another $250 a year. I mean, it is nice for families, probably. I don't know if we're required to have one.
Well,
Joe had his hand up back there.
No, I go every day. I've never seen a wheelchair.
Nancy?
Could you have just the larger one regular one and one larger one? And not label it handicap? Family unit, call it or something?
It's still gonna, I mean, a larger unit's gonna, the wheelchair accessible is more expensive.
Well, my thought,
Instead of having 2 regular ones answer, right?
One big and one.
Oh, no, we've got, we're 2 units down normally, and then during holidays, there's a third one put on.
Well, plus the wheelchair, so there's the wheelchair accessible and 2 units.
That's what I thought.
There's always 3,
There's 3.
and we get an extra one for the holidays. Are you saying?
No,
There's 2.
two down there all year long, well, during the summer.
one
months.
regular and one handicap down there all year around.
And then you have the extra
holidays.
My question was.
Then one at the pavilion and one at the.
boat ramp and one at spring.
One
Oh,
spring.
that's right. Okay.
My
Yeah, so this
question was
math is
more
correct.
to the effect, would 2 regulars be suffice versus the handicap? Yes, ma'am.
We were told at one time that from a legal perspective, if you made one thing handicapped accessible.
Right.
You have to do it everywhere.
That's my question. I think we might.
That's what concerns me. Kathy?
I agree that families access it more. It's not just handicap purpose, and it's not just wheelchair confinement. It's, you're talking about, and there are larger people that share larger bathroom.
I only bring it up because of what Barb said, the cost of it, and would 2 regulars make just as much sense, but if it doesn't, it doesn't, not financially gonna break us.
Yes, another $240 for the whole summer.
I would just label it family, not.
That's what I would do too.
I don't think
Yeah.
it says anything on it other than it has a wheelchair on the
Is
door.
there a way they could take that off?
But people use it all.
No.
I don't know, but people use it all the time. I mean,
Well-
I've used it because the other one was busy.
Sticker something.
Or cover it,
Yeah,
cover it, so it doesn't
to
say.
Barb's point, if we put a wheelchair assisted down there, then you gotta redo the sidewalk out here, you gotta redo the pavilion, you gotta redo the boat ramps.
Okay.
Or at least that's what we were told, right, Barb?
Right.
Yep. And that was from, I think, the insurance company, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember, but.
But there are provisions like that. If you do.
Let's just make sure that what they deliver out here, they're cool with. It's no wheelchair around it, it's gotta be tagged. Family accessible.
Or put a sticker on it, covered
But
up.
they're good that we cover
Any other discussion?
it. Linda has her hand up.
Linda?
I didn't quite understand. Sounded like we add on an additional in front of those 3 holiday weekends,
Yes,
but we get charged for 30 days for it.
yes,
So do they? stay?
28 days. They do 28-day billing. The minimum for a unit is 28 days.
Yeah,
So do we
they'll
keep
stay,
it?
they stay for the whole 20 days, yes, they don't just take.
Well,
the following.
I mean, we can say, well, we're paying for this, we might as well use it, but then we get.
I'm sorry.
Additional cleaning
May,
day.
June, July.
Plus the delivery
There's a month in between that we don't.
and a removal.
Well, we get charged delivery and recovery either way.
I
And I asked them about prorating, what if we use it for a week or just for 5 days? And they said, you can use it how long you want, but it's 28 days is the minimum.
I'm just suggesting do the math. If it makes sense to keep.
Oh,
it,
no, I asked,
Then,
oh,
I mean, I don't know.
I don't believe they take them away immediately, they keep them down there for the month, which means that we have 3 porta potties. For
they
3
take them away
months.
sometime before the 28 days is up. I don't know exactly. when.
take it when they come out to do the cleaning.
I think they take it with the next thing, so it's here about a week and a half.
So Memorial Day weekend's typically the last weekend of May, and if we keep it for 28 days, it seems like a week later, there's the 4th of July weekend,
Correct?
right? So it's like, that seems so close.
Correct.
Okay, and then there's all of the rest of July and
July,
all of August before Labor Day.
So you'd save a $50 delivery and recovery fee.
Just saying that.
No, we would still have to pay for it to be
Well,
delivered.
No, it stays here.
Keep it for Memorial Day.
We would still have to pay to
Through
get
4th
it
of
brought
July.
here. We could pay for one additional 28-day if you want
Right.
to, and just have another unit all
Yeah.
summer long.
The one you bring in Memorial Day,
Stays
the
through
extra
4th of
one, you
July.
pay the 28 days. Then you add another 28 days on it and they pick it up sometime in the middle of July. So you only have one pickup and delivery on that unit, not going back and forth for just a week in between. Cause you're gonna be June 28th and then you gotta get it out.
So
here
we
for
save
the-
$100 doing that. But-
Well, that's
You
the
save-
aggravation of having them bring it back and
Oh,
forth for a
Actually, you
week.
pay 13 more by doing it that way, because
What?
it's 50 each way, right, for the drop off and delivery,
Right.
and 113 for the month. So it's $100 to get it away for the month. Or it's 113 to keep it for the month,
Right.
We're paying the 113 either way.
not the month it's gone though, right?
Yeah.
No.
So it's 3 months at 113.
No, only 2 months because we'll pick it up after July 4th any day.
But then we needed Labor Day.
But so
You gotta pay for that.
we would have to pay for 2 28-day.
So I wondered if it would be cheaper just to have 3 of them all summer long, but do we need 3 of them on the holiday weekends, Tom?
Then you pay.
The only one we really need, the extra one, I was not aware that that was like, I mean, their rental for, they're telling you it's that for a month.
Their policy is a minimum of 28 days, whether you,
Then factor in the cleaning.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
that includes the cleanings.
Yeah.
The only thing we get charged
Weekly.
extra, that includes weekly cleanings, we just get charged extra cleanings for the if we call them, and if it's during business hours, it's $125 plus $45 for each unit. If it's after hours, it's $250 plus $45 per unit, which is why I said we ought to limit who can call them. I don't think we ought to just have anybody call them,
No.
and these are filthy.
My point is if you bring it in on Memorial Day, which I think is
Right.
Linda's point. You don't send it back, so you save the $50 there, then a week later, you don't have another $50 to bring it back out and just keep it for 28 days, and then if you need to send it back, or maybe you keep it for the.
Well, I wonder, and you can really pay for another month by not sending it back in July and just have 3 of them all summer.
You're only getting 398 carp, that's the bottom line.
But I didn't know if we really, I mean, I don't go to the beach enough to know how often those
I don't
things
either.
get full. I mean, do we need
When you
on the
have-
holiday weekends, do all the porta potties fill up? Cause they,
yes. Yes.
So we
It's not
definitely
holiday
need
The two fill up.
what?
Not a holiday, the two fill up.
But does the third one fill on a holiday?
Holiday weekend, oh yeah, that's one.
Yeah. So it's not that much more just to have three down there also.
That sounds like the way to go.
You
I would need a little bit more money. I want to make
You
this
say all summer.
all summer. I
You're
mean,
not talking April through October.
no, what I would do is
Memorial.
what I would do is have them come like mid-April.
Excuse me.
Hang on, folks.
I would have them deliver as planned here, mid-April through say mid-September or something. But I'd have them bring an extra unit right before Memorial Day and keep it through Labor Day.
Right.
Okay.
Or however many that, so it'd probably be 3 or 4 billing cycles, so it would be. 2 less billing cycles, it'd be $250 less, but. So it'd be a little bit more than this, like $6,000.
There's $7,900 in the budget for the porta potties.
Okay.
I just keep remembering John saying we're saving on the fish.
But the fish
Well,
are,
until people start getting the carp around here, then there's no saving.
unless somebody wants to start eating.
Talk to
grass carp,
Tucker about that, put it on the menu up there.
Catch them in these grass carp, please.
All right, I think we're good with
This is like
the,
$7,900 in the budget.
yeah, we're at 56 and change. I say, we'll vote on it, but the minimal difference along with this being an estimate as it is, I think we're safe within the budgeted amount.
Yeah.
All in favor of the 5675 with the added couple months of the third porta potty, signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. All right, lake treatment approval.
So aquatic control, we contacted several different companies for lake treatment. We had been using Aqua Consultants, which is Matt Redman. But Matt Redman refused to treat Spring Lake. We heard it loud and clear, Spring Lake needs to be treated. I heard that at every town hall, at every meeting I went to, and right now there's more algae growing in Spring Lake than I've ever seen. I've only been here 4 years, but, and so I went out to find companies that would treat it. Aquatic Control, they treat golf courses, I would be happy to do that. So we got asked Matt Redman again. He's not in favor of treating Spring Lake. This company gave us a bid for $61,914. That's to treat all 4 of the lakes. I asked them to send me the information on the product labels on the chemicals they would use in Spring Lake. Those were approved by Dave Tucker. I have it in writing. They are still capable of taking us on this year. I did not call Solitude. I was again shying away from them. Called 2 other companies, Lake Management, which is in Marthasville, but never heard back, and Midwest something, Lake Management, whatever, and I didn't hear back on them. So those are the only 2 bids I have.
Which is typical. We typically never succeed in getting 3 bids for the lakes. It's the ones you call, they don't respond back.
Well, and going through those files in there, we've contacted Aquatic Control before, and they were all about, yes, they can take us on as a client this year. Yes, they would be happy to treat Spring Lake, and they look forward to working with us. They also do fish stocking, but their price was quite a bit higher. And they are getting into bio dredging as well, so
Where are they located at?
they are in Truesdale, which is Marthasville, kind of north of there, like Warrenton or that area out there. So it's a local company, it's a Missouri company.
Is it budgeted?
No, but it's the comes out of the unbudgeted piece we left to address the lakes and security.
All right, well, I got a couple questions, so I will make a motion to approve the 61,914 for aquatic control. Is there a second?
I did motion.
Oh, you did. I'll second it then. The question I have with every one of these companies, and maybe this is the way they do business, I don't know how they get away with it, but in my mind, there's not a day that goes by that they just need to look at it and not treat it. And every one of them say, if it doesn't need treating, we'll just
So
inspect it.
So Randy Kramer is the guy at Aquatic Control that I've been working with. I asked him that specifically. He told me probably the only time we wouldn't treat is if you asked us not to treat it.
Well, it
He
does
said
say in
you-
there that,
Sure, that's a disclaimer they have in, every one of them says that, but I asked him that specifically and he said, the only reason we wouldn't treat is if you asked us not to treat it.
and let me make sure I understand this right through the grapevine, and I don't remember where I heard it from, but it's somewhere within this community, or I think this board even, that these water treatment companies are just a Band-Aid solution to what this other clean flow is gonna do.
Well, I mean, this is introducing heavy metals into our lakes, which, you know, we'd rather not, I mean, we'd rather have a chemical free lake, but we're gonna lose our lakes if we don't do something soon. We're gonna lose the two little ones for sure, and they're gonna become sterile, and I mean, every man-made body of water is born with a death sentence. They're just slowly going away, and we need to look at a long-term solution, which is what we're looking for dredging, or now this new bio dredging has come along and it's gaining a lot of momentum going forward. And so this is just to get us through, because the lakes, the algae growth this year is way ahead of schedule. And I'm hoping the grass carp will help with that too.
All right, that answers my question. Nancy?
When, did he say when he will start and how often it will be treated?
Mid-April, and it'll be every other.
Treated is not the adjective, I mean, I know that's the one you're looking for, but.
No, she's talking about, you're talking about the chemical treatment.
I'm talking about the chemical.
Right, but they are only gonna inspect initially, that's only the only guarantee you are actually getting from any of these companies. If it needs treating, they will after the inspection. Got it right here.
That's not what, but that's not what he just said, that I heard.
They won't put it in writing. They will not put any of them, they will not put in writing that they will treat every visit. So if something happens and they come out here and everything tests out right and it said doesn't need a treatment, they have the prerogative not to treat it. Now, the guy told Kent that that's not the case with them. It's like, we pretty much would have to ask them not to treat it for him not to treat it.
He's gonna have to have us say, don't treat him this week.
And all last year with Matt Redmond's company, the only time he didn't treat it was the first time in April because the water temps weren't high enough yet.
All right.
So he did treat it.
Understanding, you said that. Or did you say that he will treat it unless you ask him not to?
But every company says the same thing in writing, that says we will inspect and treat if necessary.
He's saying that because he has been educated on the condition of our lakes. But in their contract, if they come out here and think it doesn't need treating, or one of the four don't need treating, they just have to do basically an audit of the lake.
Or we ask them for some reason not to.
Right.
We can monitor that though, Ken. If they come out here and start on the, I didn't treat it, then.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to do is when we first hired Solitude, which did a great job the first year. We paid more than we ever had before. They did a great job. Everybody was high-fiving us, patting us on the back. You're doing a great job. Then all of a sudden COVID hit. They couldn't get employees. They didn't show up. They said they treated it 3 times in December, which we all know we don't need that. But one of the things we put forth in the contract was that they had to contact the Lakes and Beaches guy and or Tom. So we knew they were here. We didn't want to have to rely on a gate card or anything like that. So when they say, hey, we're coming on Tuesday and they don't show up till Wednesday, well, we thought we meant Wednesday. That crap don't fly because that's why Solitude got where they were at.
We used to get a report out from Matt when he was done.
Yeah, well, that was.
Ken, do you know if they know if they give a report?
I did not ask them that specifically, so I'm not gonna say.
I would ask that. Matt used to give us a monthly report. after the fact.
I'm confident that they would be willing to do that.
So, I mean, Ken,
Nancy, I want to make sure that I understand.
well, I'm gonna, Nancy doesn't understand, neither do I, you know, so I mean, so they're gonna come out and they're going to inspect the lake and then they're gonna treat it unless we tell them not.
No.
So then, okay, that's the way that I thought, is that the way you heard?
That's what I.
Okay, that's what I heard too.
But I don't think they're gonna put that in, they're not gonna say that we're gonna put chemicals in your lake if they, whether they need them or not. They're not gonna put that on paper.
But if they come out and they inspect, like you say, treat it, they'll treat it.
But I don't know this much about whether they should treat it. I mean, if I see unwanted vegetation, then I'll say, yeah, you guys need to treat it. If they tell me the lakes are like as clean as a swimming pool, and they say, I wouldn't put any more chemicals in here than you have to, then I'm probably gonna defer to them, knowing that that's okay.
I get that, okay, all right.
And so.
So my
but
point
I
to
would-
this whole thing, Kent, is for $61,000, they're gonna manage our lakes. They're gonna come out, they're gonna inspect them, they're gonna treat them as needed. They could treat them one time and it lasts all year long and we're still paying $61,000.
Okay.
But if one treatment lasts all.
I
year
agree.
long,
But if it takes 3 treatments or 5 treatments, it's still gotta be 61.
Right.
okay, so 61,000.
But they still come and inspect. Okay,
I just want everybody to be on the page that they could only dump one set of chemicals in here, and if it works, even better.
We have a
And they're
fish.
Well, Dave, and that's why we need a report when they inspect.
And they will take a little. vote.
Yeah, that's a good point, Glenn, to get the report for sure, once they do their inspection. Get the report to verify whether, I mean, like you said, none of us are. On there.
Right, let's learn what the key indicators are and if
Very,
they,
very confident they would be happy to do both those things. Contact Tom Hayes or myself or who are our designee, as well as give us a report on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
In my emails that I get when I was on Lakes and Beaches, I still got emails from Matt after the fact. Of when he would do his trips out here and then he'd report back and say, okay, we put through this code shows excess algae or whatever, so we put chemicals in here, this code was okay, and he did a report after that. I'll send you that so that you can show it to that guy, say we would like the same report, and that way you know what.
And my big concern or what I would love to see is we get a company, they do a good job, we stick with them. And then the 61,000, we can come to them at the beginning of the year and say, hey, we only need you in March, May, and just do the inspections. Maybe that price will come down because we are telling them we don't want to be treated then. If we can get a history with them. Right now, we don't have a history with anybody.
Yeah, and I mean.
Because to me,
There's pluses and
61,000.
minuses to putting all our eggs in one basket. They also do fish stocking. And they do some of the bio dredging, and it'd be nice to have one company managing, you know, it's like trying to build your own house versus getting a contractor, you know.
So my next question to him would be, hey, we'd really like you to do our fish if you could cut back on them chemicals.
Well, and we'll see, but I think we should develop.
No, I agree. We need a history with them. We gotta first make sure it works.
I think this too, though, is, one is it addresses the cry we got from the people on Spring Lake about treating it. The Aquatic worked with us, gave us the names of the chemicals. Tucker approved it. I think he gave it to Kent in writing. I went back and asked him again. So we have to make certain that you work with Wendy. We have to have their certificate of insurance before they step foot in here. On it.
They've confirmed they have a COI.
Yep, and from that, but I don't think this is the long-term thing we're after. I think the long-term thing we're trying to get to is get the quote for the bio dredging and figure out if that's something we can make happen.
But
It would be
they're
wonderful to
walking
never
into
dump
this.
another chemical in our lakes, but we're not there, guys.
Right.
And we will be.
But that's what we have been that the whole committee has been working at on that for months now.
You guys have been working very
Hats off
hard.
to the committee. They've done a
You-
lot of work. They're making phone calls every day. They're researching stuff. The committee's done a great job.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great. Anybody else got any? I will pass that on. Thank you, because we meet with the conservation department. We meet with vendors. They're doing a lot of work. But keeping in mind that we're looking at the long-term health of the lakes, not like you said, a Band-Aid. So that's enough for me. Sorry.
Yeah, Dave or Kent, I would just make one
I'll have a bunch of stuff
suggestion.
next month too.
Hang on, go ahead, Glenn.
You know, and I have no idea how much it would cost, but if they come out and they sample the lakes and they say, yeah, no treatment necessary, wouldn't you want some kind of extra audit to confirm what they're telling us for $61,000?
Well, you're gonna get an extra audit from about 2,500 homes in here.
All right.
No, I agree with you though. Yeah, if nothing else, if they come out and the lakes look like crap of what we think and they say we don't need it, then we probably need a second opinion.
I don't think we're gonna have another solitude situation.
Okay, good.
I don't.
All right, all in favor of the $61,914 to treat all 4 Rain Tree Lakes, April through September, signify with an aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Tilly, you don't want to oppose?
No.
Passes. All right, ballot items were tabled, right?
No.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Thank you. Do I have that?
Should be in there, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in here, but
I didn't have it.
I don't have it, so, yeah.
okay, we got a ballot item suggestion. It is amending the covenant, adding item 1K.
Yeah. I knew I had it.
And it is regarding the restriction of lots. So what they're looking to add to this covenant is adjoining lots not within Rain Tree Plantation. Any lot purchased by a Rain Tree property owner that is not within the boundary of Rain Tree Plantation but adjoins their lot, which is within the boundary of Rain Tree Plantation, is prohibited from using that adjoining lot to circumvent using the approved gates into Rain Tree subdivision, driveways, or any other type of thoroughfare that adjoin a street not within Rain Tree to a street within Rain Tree by crossing the boundary lines of Rain Tree Plantation are prohibited.
You know, that all follows and makes perfect sense, but isn't there something that limits the number of entrances and exits in Rain Tree already or not? Would that be a better thing to do than or?
Oh, let's just.
No.
You can't
What
limit.
questions?
I mean, it's private. Can't we limit the number of entrances and exits to our property?
Yes, we can. But let me go through this. I understand the end result here, but any lot purchased by a Rain Tree property owner that is not within the boundary of Rain Tree Plantation, but adjoins their lot, which is within the boundary of Rain Tree Plantation. I mean,
But
Is that
adjoin,
even
it says,
possible with-
but
in the county?
adjoins,
Lot
you're thinking
like that,
boundary
yeah.
adjustment. That probably butts up against it.
So you're saying two separate lots held by.
So the perimeter, if this is Raintree right here, you know, and.
Hey, everybody, can you please not talk?
You own a lot that's on the outside right here, and you buy a lot that's here, you can't put a driveway that gets you into Raintree, is basically what all that verbiage said, if I,
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer, but isn't that what it
I
said?
think that's what they're trying to get at.
So does this have any bearing on the stuff we passed last year about the driveway and roads or concrete or gravel or?
Different issue.
So it's not connected,
Who introduced this?
which they can't connect it.
Okay, that has to go through Ted, right?
If we agree to send
Yeah.
it to
Just send it to
Doug,
Ted.
I go to that first.
Right, this is just your discussion
Right,
purposes.
okay.
You want me to go make copies so everybody has one to look at?
Yeah, and as Tom
I don't need.
mentioned at another meeting, Tom Hayes mentioned that there's already multiple property owners that have this situation. And it's not abused, so what would happen to those property owners?
There is several.
Several.
I believe there's 3.
I think that we should limit the number of entrances and exits to Raintree, that way you eliminate all of this.
I don't disagree with that, Kent, but they might not consider that an entrance or an exit. They might just.
No, there's only one way to get on Raintree roads, through our approved entrances.
But we have no control to stop that if he does it as an entrance, because like right now, Denny and I think, Desiree, I don't know if you looked at it again. There's nothing in the covenants that stops somebody from putting a driveway on an empty lot, meaning no house. There's something that says you can't park on that driveway, but doesn't say you can't. You just have to get ACC approval for it. So, I mean, they could put the driveway in there if ACC approved it, but by limiting the entrance to it, I'm like, how, whether we have it or not, he still, they drive across it and you don't catch them on camera, it's not enforceable.
Kathy, Kathy, you had something to say?
So let me make sure you understand that you're trying to legislate what people do on their property that is not in Raintree. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
what we're trying to prevent is somebody that has a lot not in Raintree that connects it to, or adjoins a lot in Raintree and uses it as a drive-through.
What business is it of theirs that they do it? It's on private property.
Not,
It's not-
the purpose of it is anybody could come through there and get in Raintree without.
No, you can't. Not anybody.
But there,
Okay, let's
this
let me answer that.
property onto Raintree.
So you got people from the states in the Raintree.
Perfect example. That's a perfect example. That's what this would do. But let's just say that person who owns these two properties has 100 people and they say, come on over.
So, what if I live in Raintree, what happens if I have a Raintree?
You bring them from. Right.
Then you're responsible for each one of those by a law. Yeah.
The reason I made this was to try and help Raintree preserve their boundary lines. Because if Raintree doesn't, there is laws on book in this country that state that if a person uses property daily on a regular basis, it's known and open to everyone in the world, and they continue to use it for 10 years, then that piece of property no longer belongs to just that person who owns that property. It is now an easement in itself, and any person can use that in perpetuity, whether it's owned by whoever owns the property, they still own it, but anybody can use that right of way. It's true.
That it is not true.
It is.
It is not true.
Hang on.
It is not true. It is true because I had to sue somebody.
I have an easement on my property. It is not true. It has true.
It's called boundary of equity.
You keep saying it's not true, but you can't.
Okay, I don't mind letting anybody talk if they wait for the previous person to stop talking and don't bicker back and forth. Kathy, you wanted to say something?
It is not true. An easement is legislated on personal property. And it would only apply. We have an easement on our property. For our next door neighbor. It was put there from John Bowden, who used to own it. And it's an easement that goes through part of our property as a gravel driveway. Okay? This easement, now, the easement could have been kept up if the gravel was, if the road was maintained. And but it is not a public easement. It is a private easement and it's only for landowners. And you only get an easement if you can, it's for access granting. It is not for going into a neighborhood. It is for going into their own property. Okay? Now, if it's not maintained, then after 4 years, the easement is null and void.
Okay,
So,
let
but
me,
you're talking about two different things. An easement is not for public purpose.
let me rephrase how I stated that. Let's just say for sake of argument, somebody buys a lot on Highway B and has no intention of ever building on it, they put a gravel driveway on it. And that same person buys a lot on Raintree that adjoins to the back of that lot and put a gravel driveway on it. But they're only out here once a year on 4th of July. What's to prevent anybody from driving through there and us preventing the access?
It's not Raintree's purpose to legislate what people do on their private property. If they follow, please let me finish. If they follow Raintree's legislation and Raintree rules on the property that is actually in Raintree, that's one thing. But what someone does on their private property going in to Raintree, that's, or matching up to Raintree, you have, it's on them to check for trespassers, which the people that you're talking about have cameras, they have signs that for no trespassing, they've got yeah, I mean.
I'm not referring to anybody in general, Kathy. I'm just saying this person comes out once a year and people just constantly conversing through there.
Okay.
Raintree has the priority to enforce security in this place, so. Right, so somebody coming in off of, hang on, somebody cutting through that lot that never shows up here, that just has one lot on each side of the property line, one on non-Raintree and one in Raintree. We are responsible for the security in here. If they're coming through there, they don't have a card, they don't have a sticker or whatever at that time.
So are you regulating what comes through Blades?
No, but that's what this will prevent.
They step on the rate.
They,
Key Ridge, there is a property owner that has at least one lot, and it butts up to several acres that same property owner owns, and they have a four-wheeler track.
oh, I know.
And they have it come through and they bring their four-wheelers in and out all the time. Now, I don't know how this would prevent that, but that is, for one, there's people getting in here that do not belong in Raintree. They're not entering properly, so they're not using their cars, and they're violating the rules by driving four-wheelers in here, and no matter where you are and who you live, whether you live in here or who you are, our rules apply to everybody, you know, so if they come in here and they don't live in here, we still zap them with every
Right.
extension we have.
Do you know if that person or that, where that's at, I know where you're talking about, they also own a lot in here as
They own
well?
the light that it butts up to,
Okay.
and you can see it on the property viewer map, I looked it up years ago.
Kathy?
It just. It screams dictatorship for us to start making rules on things that aren't even happening yet. Have you talked to these property owners? Have you talked to them about their intent on what they want to do with the property? You just got done saying that he should talk with his neighbor about building a garage. So why don't you start there instead of coming over heavy-handed and saying, well, guess what? We're gonna decide what you do.
Hang on a minute. This is just a ballot item suggestion. We're discussing it.
Let's.
And I have talked to one
Let me say
property owner. I have
So
talked
the
to one
ballot-
property owner and it was basically the middle finger, like, get out of my business.
So the ballot item process is this. Owners submit them, board could submit it, we discuss it here. We're allowing you to participate. Then it goes to, if we decide to move forward, it goes to legal review. Once we get legal review, we review that again and make the final determination, does it go on the ballot? Then all of you as owners show up and vote. And that's how it's either gonna pass or fail. So all we are involved in is making the determination of, is it legal? Does it constrain business? Is it in conflict with something else in the bylaws and covenants? The legal review happens, then it goes to the ballot. All right, and the owners vote on it. So we're not voting to put anything in place here. So if the owners feel that this is intruding on their business and their property, they're gonna vote no to, it, and it doesn't go anywhere. If owners feel, yep, this is a big security breach, it will move on. Okay, so we're not making any decisions about this is going into bylaws or covenants. We don't have that authority level to do it. It has to be voted in. I'm not sure who had their hand up first.
Jerry?
Do we have, when another, area is butted up to Braintree, is there not a variance in there?
There's not a variance, but there's an easement along every property line. Yeah.
Okay, so can't we put something along that easement?
You wanna build a wall?
Expenses all over this.
I hear there's some extra razor wire laying around in Texas.
No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, I mean, isn't that a way? I mean, I would think that that would be a way to stop. I mean, if there's a,
I agree with that. I mean, if you go down Plantation, you'll see some fence right there that probably belongs to the guy there or whatever, and there's some on P Ridge as well, there's fence. And you could do that, the only problem is then you're gonna have people that are gonna be cutting them anyway. And then you're gonna have a maintenance issue, because you're gonna have guys that are gonna be out there running fence all the time.
Yes, go ahead.
okay, my intent was to prevent this kind of a problem. Because there are lots in here currently that have some cut throughs. And I don't think that this ballot item will help you in any way, shape or form against those lots. Because the people that have the one over off of Waterside that cuts through from Double B into Braintree has been there for over 10 years. It's got a gate across it, it's locked with a chain. And because it's been there for 10 years and everybody knows that it's there, it's openly and knowingly, it meets the standard that for adverse possession, progressive easement, and boundary of acquiescence. And that is just what that means is, if you own your property, and it's your property, and your neighbor decides to cross your lawn at the back of your property, every day and you see him go across there and you say nothing to him. And he does it the next day and the next day and the next day, and you keep on watching this for years. And after 10 years passes, you decide you're gonna put up a fence because you're tired of seeing him walk across your lawn. Well, guess what? Now you have lost the ability to put up a fence there. You're gonna lose in court, they're gonna make you take it down, and they're gonna say that that man has a right to walk across your personal property that you own because you've allowed him to do it for 10 years. It's the same way with all these driveways in here, those you probably can't do anything about. My intent was all around Raintree, there's a lot of building going on. And if you don't do anything, then the only way you're really gonna be able to protect your boundaries is to build a fence.
So let me make sure, I understand, this ballot item that you suggested has got nothing to do if the person owns both sides of the property. It's if there's a different person owning,
No, it's if a person owns both sides of the property.
well, why would you care if anybody?
They don't.
Well, I tried to make the second part of that to allow them, if they owned those two lots, that they could build a driveway across that. But they couldn't connect a road outside of Raintree with a road inside of Raintree, thereby circumventing Raintree's right to have gates.
Kathy?
Okay, so if I'm following this right, then we need to do something about the golf course. Because you got people coming off of the public golf course, going into other people's yards and other people's property. So is that where it's gonna be? We're gonna start legislating.
No.
Yes, we do. We have properties all along the golf course. Don't you?
Yeah, but they're not building a road.
We're not building a road onto their
Yeah.
property.
No, but you're talking about easements, you're talking about.
Not easement.
No, this is not an easement. This is what-
Someone walking through your property, right? Right?
That's what I was talking about. Let's say it's your front yard.
Isn't it? It happens all the time.
But how many people do that every day for 10 years?
Let's see.
Let's
All
move.
right, let's. All right, let's not worry about what could and what would happen. We'll run this by the attorney, see what he thinks. We've got your information.
Do they want to go by the?
I would like to get the attorney's opinion on this or something similar that says that property owners or not can only be utilized approved Raintree access and egress. In other words, we can give it to Dave Tucker and he can drive his trucks on and off the golf, his gators and things like that onto the trails, but also onto the golf course and run them across our roads, et cetera. And
It's already there.
yeah, those kind of things that we just limit the access and egress to Raintree through approved entrances and exits only or something like that. Is that?
That would be fine with
Yeah,
me.
I think that's a wider, that's a broader brush and it just kind of says, okay, we don't want people coming onto our property without our approval.
Let's.
Using entrances or exits without our approval. If
Anybody
you're okay
opposed
with
to sending this to 10 of the board?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll send it to Ted for his legal opinion.
Yes, Kathy,
How are you gonna enforce that?
basically like anything we can enforce out here,
Right.
that is the best we can.
Yep.
Oh, that's not, it's about roads.
There's people are driving on the road. From the dog board.
Well, technically, that's trespassing,
Mhm.
so,
it would be up to the lot owner to have
Yeah.
nothing to do with that.
If anybody comes through and they find out that lot owner gets fined for it, so, I mean, they have the money.
I think the key is we just don't want a highway being built through here,
No.
roads and access, and we spend all this money on the gates and security, and then we just
Exactly.
poke a hole in it.
Teenagers trying to weigh in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're still, I mean, you can post speed limits and people are still gonna speed. I mean, we just, let's put it in writing that to limit this going forward. And we position ourselves a lot better.
That's what I was trying to do.
More better. Yeah.
We will revisit it, we'll get it through the attorney, and we'll revisit it and see if it needs to be cleaned up, which I'm sure it will be. All right, treasurer's report and presentation of bills.
All right,
Remember when finance used to be a hot topic?
on the balance sheet, we're gonna have to make a correction to the balance sheet. The primary checking account and the city escrow account are about $2,000 flip flop. So we will make those and publish a new balance sheet. And those reports are out there online. Overall for February, we have $144,000, one checking account, 345, and the overflow. The security special assessment is still at 30,000. Just rounded the numbers here. Lake dredging has 17,000 in it. Money market reserve has 105 in it. The ICF has 287 in it. Those are not excess cash balances. They're either restricted or we need those to last us through the assessment collection in 2024. We collected $5,000 in assessment related payments in February. The city fee was $68. We have 106,000 in the city escrow, and we just initiated a transfer over to us from that escrow account. At the end of February, there were 270 delinquent owners totaling $323,000 of assessment related activities owed to us. The 2024 budget's completed. I will update it with some of the items that we approved today, but you all have in your packet this report, which is the budget. When it runs every month, it'll tell us what we have actually spent year to date against what the budget is and the difference, so. Get familiar with that, because when we look to spend something, that's what we're gonna talk about. From there, I went through all those, in February, we went live, with bill payments through City and Village. We also set the recurring monthly bills up on auto pay. We released over the weekend the online capability to order your stickers and hang tags through Rever. There's about last I looked, yesterday, there were about a dozen people have already utilized it. And we've started work on what will be phase 2, which is an actual online store where you can order them all at one time and you can actually pay for it right through there if you want. And we are continuing our work to review QuickBooks and the credit card process and to see if there's any potential money savings. As far as the monthly check report, there's really nothing that I see that is out of the ordinary. If anyone has any questions, I will answer those.
Yeah, the online store system, but if we pay through that system, does that money go to Rubber or does it come to the office?
It'll go to the office. Rubber doesn't collect money.
Okay.
It's on it, but it would go to the office, so it would, the credit card process would be set up to where they drop into the bank. Directed, so. But like right now with the Rubber online forms, if you need a boat sticker, car sticker, hang tag, motorized boat, you have to do each one of those individually. In the online store, you'll be able to punch what you want. Fill in what's necessary, upload your documents, and you can be able to pay through that as well. All right, if there are no questions. I'll make a motion to approve the finance report and the monthly check report.
Second that. Any discussion? All in favor of the approval of the treasurer's report and finance report, or is the presentation of bills, signify with an eye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes. Communications and correspondence.
Okay, basically, excuse me. I removed one, contact from MailChimp, because they have moved or no longer live here. One of the things we did, besides our notices for the security and lakes and beaches meetings, we had the roundup and the rules meeting, clean flow meeting, no wake, and the no wake has been lifted. Controlled burn, we had that, notice on that the fire department was doing that, and the POA board meetings. Our website updates, we've been working really hard on trying to get things up to date. And with the use of Rever and the stickers, we did find on our agendas that were going out, we had the wrong link, and so we put the correct link that takes you to all recorded meetings, which I think is nice. So you can go to the POA website and then click on that link that's in the agenda, and it will take you to all the recorded meetings, which is kind of a nice thing that we did. We added the recordings of the lakes and beaches meetings and the security technology meetings, so those are up and going. We also posted on the website the Braintree Country Club summary that we do semi-annually, is that correct, Dave? Every 6 months?
Yes.
We meet with Mr. Tucker, so that's been posted on the website. And basically, our goal is to try to keep the website accurate and up to date as much as we can. We're gonna probably have Nikki, our webmaster, be the liaison. We just send the documents to her and she gets it, so that we're trying to streamline it so that not a bunch of people have different opportunities to put stuff on the website or whatever, just to make it more centralized, and everything that we need to put on the website goes through her, and she's our webmaster and she knows everything that I could not even begin to ask. We had emails about new ballot items. Of course, you can see that we had quite a few people wanting to speak about the 1% ballot item. I got an email about some RVN pictures at Ridgecrest, so I've got those that are probably gonna go on to Roundup. We had an email concerned about unattended burning brush piles. So just so you know, when you are burning brush, you need to do it between, I think the hours are 8 to 4. Is that what it is, Desiree? I think it's something like that. And then make sure you put it out. Don't leave it unattended, but somebody was concerned about that. And don't forget, week of April 2nd through the 5th, we're gonna have a mock election. We voted on doing a Scantron to count our votes, our ballots. And so the first week in April, we are going to have the old ballot items from September. And so you can come in, and if you want to vote a couple of times, we're just gonna get a number of ballots and test it and see the validity and the accuracy and all that kind of stuff. So feel free to come up here during office hours to come and vote, and you're just voting on old ballot items that were in September. I think that's it. Oh, if board members, you have roundup articles.
How many voters do you hope to have for the mock?
Well, 299 was last, but for this mock election, if I get 100, I'd be happy.
We want at least 100.
If I get 50, I mean,
So encourage your neighbors.
Yeah, just come up
Take a
and
couple minutes.
you can come in and you don't have to vote like you would really vote. Just make it all, and let's just see what it comes up. To be,
About 30 here tonight.
yeah, so yeah, all of you are, okay. Oh, yes, and, we've had interest on Facebook about a garage sale, but nobody has stepped up to take the bait on organizing it, and if we don't, honestly, if we don't have anybody that's going to do it by the end of this month, it's probably too late to get it out and publicize it.
Immediately that Nancy just get up and walk away.
Nobody has gotten in touch with me? Nope, not one person.
I've had a couple of people that have expressed interest in being involved in it, but nobody wants to take
Right,
the lead on it.
right.
Somebody has to take the lead on it.
Somebody has to take the lead and organize it and that type of thing. So as of right now, I have nobody. There was people saying they would be interested in helping, but nobody wants to take the lead
So
on it.
without starting a big long conversation, is this something that's been going on for years and years and years
Every
and
year.
years?
Yeah.
And is it for the community to,
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
to
Get rid of your stuff.
not, I hate to say get rid of things, but to pass on their treasures?
And yes, well, and there's also talk,
I love that one.
there's also talk that, you know, if nobody steps up, if we wanted to say June 15th or whatever. We're gonna have a garage sale within Raintree and it's just people within Raintree, we could do that, I mean. And just make a list of the addresses that wanna have it, and it's not, keep the gates open for 4 hours. For outside people, I mean, at this point, I mean, I have nobody, so I know that there's interest, everybody wants to have a garage sale, but.
Does anybody know when it usually is? Is it April, June?
No, it's usually June. The first or well, the second week is usually Father's Day weekend, so I think it's like the first weekend of June, second weekend.
First, third weekend.
It takes about,
Okay.
it takes about 3 or 4 people to do, you know. Nancy had a real nice letter that she put out that says exactly what they did to do it. You know, you have to have people stationed up here at 6 o'clock in the morning because you'll have people that will just park right in front of that gate.
As soon as she comes out of the right black bar and tell
Yeah,
You gotta tell them to get away from the gate, get up in the parking lot, then you gotta open all the gates up, and beforehand, you gotta have signs put up at all the different places.
Nancy.
yeah.
Nancy did a great job, but the nights you don't want to do it.
I think you're hired.
And committee chairs and chairpeops, I gave you a list of just who's on the website in your committee. You take a look and see if it's correct, and you don't have to do it right tonight, but soon, so that I can update the website on the committee members. And if you don't have people and you want to have a committee and you want me to reach out, I'll say, hey, you know what? Such and such committee is looking for volunteers or whatever. Okay.
Thank you very much. All right, standing committee reports. So first is administration. So the one thing I want to just address on the administration, I'll let you deal with the rest of it, Tilly, but the administration, I just want to let you know, these guys, every one of them gals are busting their ass to try to make Raintree better. Not one of them has a single personal goal in mind. The 1% thing that was brought to us by a property owner, we are in desperate need of a assessment increase of some shape, form, or, thanks, Nancy.
Volunteer.
You go out here and get the garage sale.
Good job.
I think that's.
Why do you think I left at the office?
Once it's opportune, maybe look.
If you do the garage sale, we'll fix the water. So anyway, back to what I was saying, they are busting their butt to try to make Raintree better, whether it be through technology, whether it be through saving money, whether it be unique assessments, you know, everything they're doing. Like the lakes and beaches, they're coming up with, I mean, the one bid we got was 1.5 million, and will it do the trick? Yeah, but we don't have 1.5 million. We need a better security system. Glenn's been working his ass off trying to get better cameras, a secondary set of cameras that'll be like a go-between that'll fill in the cracks of maybe a license plate reader misses. Tilly and John have been diligent up in this office. Steve's working with the maintenance and the volunteer network. Desiree's working hard on the rules and trying to get money out of people that break the rules. Denny, you're doing a lot with the roads. I know I wouldn't be in your shoes, but he just doesn't have nothing to work with, folks, and he needs millions of dollars, and it doesn't need to be millions of dollars this year, but we've got to have a strategic plan of what we're gonna do, and we've got some ideas of how to do it. And the people that are bringing these ideas to us, I get so frustrated that we just get beat to hell on Facebook and Nextdoor because they're not usually our ideas. There's something that has been brought to us, or it's been discussed, or this is the lesser of two evils, or this might make more sense. So I welcome all the comments. It's not like we have a personal agenda in this to try to take over the subdivision. We're trying to do what's best for the subdivision. And I don't know if you guys are gonna be here. I hate to keep somebody here that can't speak and probably feels like hell, but if you got any way to introduce something into the assessments, I'm all for it, because that's where we're struggling. We couldn't get the security passed last year, the roads budget passed last year, so we're gonna do something a little strategic there this year, which was brought to our attention last year. Everybody's worried about the 1% causing your home value to go down. Can you imagine if you're driving on gravel and the gates come down and everybody's using the lake? So as much as that hurts, this will hurt worse, because we are just not making ends meet right now. We don't have a roads budget this year other than emergency. Dam's gotta be fixed. There's holes and cracks in the dam. Steve's working with Tom on that. We got a culvert that's gotta be fixed. I could go on and on and on. It's all about the money. It's all about us paying our fair share. And I know I've said this long before the country club thing ever got talked about, but $800 to $1,000 for a homeowner is what it's gonna take in here, and lots are gonna have to buck up. And I know there's a lot of them and they just use it to fish and swim and ski and whatnot, but you know, they need to be paying $600-700 a year as well. And if we can get something like that, and you guys got something that you have up your sleeve that will work, can't wait to hear it. But that's all of my administration. I would really quick, the only thing in legal right now is validating this 1%, whether it's legit or not. And some of the ballot items we're gonna run by him. And I think it's a one-off here and there of some questions we had, but nothing major. There's no lawsuits pending or otherwise, so that's been pretty quiet, so.
If I could just clarify one thing you said, when we're talking about money, we're not talking about $5,000-10,000 stuff.
No,
Okay, that's not gonna fit a road. We're talking about millions of dollars, all right? If you want dredging done, it's several $100,000. The community that Clean Flow presented, it was $1.5 million. All right. The roads, I'm like, you know, Denny said a couple of meetings ago, we probably need $2 million a year for several years to get the roads squared away to where they, you know, will last, and we don't just keep, you know, throwing $200,000 a year at trying to manage through it, and you're not really addressing or fixing the problem, you know, from it. And I mean, there's 40 miles of roads in here. And, you know, I just tell you this, everywhere you see a road that's got cracks all over in it, the road is bad into the base. You know, it's just a fact. So they're only gonna get worse. And where you drive on the roads where it's busting off at the side, where it's developing potholes, those cracks are gonna start doing that more and more and more throughout Rangery. So, you know, when we sit here and talk about, you know, money, we can navigate the avenues of, like, you know, we've figured out a way how we're gonna treat Spring Lake this year. You know, just for everybody to know, this lake treatment we approved today is about $15,000 more than we spent last year, and it's $10,000 more than Matt Redmond's bid. But it includes Spring Lake this time. So, you know, things in that range, we could have a prayer of navigating and doing it, but you know what? We can't, come up with a massively better security system. We can't fix the roads. We cannot get these lakes dredged. And if you dredge them by suction or digging them out, it's never ending. The roads, they're never ending. The life of a road is 15 to 20 years. So we gotta figure out as a community how the heck that we're gonna be able to bring, money in here, one way or another, and nothing's gonna be easy. You raise the assessments too high, people won't wanna buy in here. Roads fall apart. We're in jeopardy of losing a lake right now, so we're gonna become 3 lakes in a mud puddle. It's that level of stuff, so, everybody's trying to do their best of what we're doing, but, talking about something that costs a few $1,000s, it's not gonna make a difference to the things that we talked about that we need the assessment money for.
Can I say something?
Sure.
In that regard, about the assessments. Can you talk to Tucker, maybe? I think it would help if Tucker, if his were due like at a different time than ours would do. I mean, because I gotta pay the country club and I gotta pay here at the same time. If you could talk to Tucker, that might help you a little bit on getting some assessment increases.
Well,
If you
yes,
could
we
change his a
can
little
do that. It'd be easier for us to change ours versus trying to talk another business into changing his. But let me ask you this, Joe, what do you think about this? I had brought something to the table. We haven't really discussed it yet, but what about if we can figure out that everybody just pays an amount once a month? Say it's $100 a month for a homeowner, $50 a month for a lot owner, and you just put it on an auto pay and you walk away from it.
That's good.
Then you don't have that big chunk of money ever.
Exactly. That's good. That's a
Okay,
good idea.
tell another 2,400 people that. And we're not here trying to scare anybody. This is the God's honest truth. These roads are falling apart. We've been trying to dredge these lakes since we got here. I was surprised we do have a little bit of a money in the account for the dredging fund, but it's just a slow process. And the formula that I figured out, it would bring about another $2 to $2.5 million to this community. And if we did what we had to do to get by for a couple, 3 years, we would have the kind of money we need to get a ton of roads done, get the lake taken care of, and the rinse station and whatever. Jerry, you got a question? I'm working on it.
Okay.
In regards to what you've been talking about, with the way that the outside people that, like people that come to the meetings and that, I get sick of hearing what they say also. And I always try to correct what they're saying on Facebook or next door or whatever. Do you go to a meeting and, this is where you can get your information and so on and so forth. Do you think that it would help if maybe on, that you guys could put something together, like, this is how much roads we need to get fixed this year, and this is how much it's gonna cost, or we have to have so much done with the lakes, and this is, this is approximately how much it's gonna cost. And this is what's budgeted out, and this is all we have, and maybe these people that won't come in or won't get on the computer, won't pick up the budget and that we have available for them, that some way that they would be able to see it, we're throwing it in their face then, that maybe they'll understand, and maybe they say, well, maybe we do need an increase.
That's a good point. One of the things we plan on doing, and maybe as early as next week, is starting to have some town halls to get people educated on it. What, John and Tilly and others have done this in the past, of what it takes to do a mile of asphalt road, what it takes to do a cove and a lake. I do believe the clean flow is the 1,500,000 is really just the front end cost, and then after it's set up and working and it just is a maintenance fee every year, and we think that is gonna be working if the audit comes back properly, but I don't know what other way to do it. I mean, we could rent out the college again and get a couple hundred people there, but it's probably this couple hundred people that show up.
The thing, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think you need to somehow get it out. I mean, I don't know,
Some type of an illustration of.
yeah, get it out,
What it
out
costs
on media somehow that they can see it like.
I realize we did on the roads last year.
Or
It
something
went,
like that.
it went out in the newsletter last year spelling out, we did a supplemental follow-up to it. And we put the information of roads out there last year. And, you know, the ballot items failed.
We got about 700 people registered.
That, yeah, I would say, we have 1,129 subscribers and we think
That's
about
great.
600 of.
1,200 if you go by maybe the 80-20 rule or
Yeah.
70-30, you got enough to pass a ballot item.
Yeah, so the most that opens up is like 600 to 700 people open up our MailChimp. So,
Well,
about-
I mean, if you put something in there.
Oh, we
That's
do?
something we
Yeah,
can
we
do.
do.
Oh, yeah. Are you not reading your emails? Go ahead.
Add a roads assessment.
For every year though, right?
Right, it's
Yeah.
ongoing.
So
But we had it worded a little incorrectly.
my thought process, and I will tell you, my husband and I probably are some of the lowest income people in Rankin. We don't make tons and tons of money, but I respect that the subdivision needs roads. I completely get that. I personally would be more happy if bids for all the work that needs to be done and maybe broke out by a year based on a project plan. Submit it and say, okay, this year we need a one-time assessment. We voted for one-time assessments like 6 years ago. It's in our covenants. We would find the money. Now, we don't want to pay it necessarily all at one time, but we would find the money to do a one-time assessment. And in that writing in there, it says that money has to go into a separate account to pay for just the roads. I personally think that that is a better way to go instead of just saying, we're gonna raise the assessments for our roads, and it's gonna be every year. I think a bigger chunk for a one time, and maybe it's maybe it's for 3 years in a row, just as long as it's spelled out, because that's what I think people want to see things spelled out. Not you guys necessarily, but we've been here 20 years, we've been burned by other boards. And so unfortunately, the board that's in there now, which I will say on Facebook, I defend 100%. I always tell people, get this crap on Facebook because it makes our subdivision look terrible. I just think that might be a little bit better way to try to go about it.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
All right, just, this is just high level. It's not a pure all-in fix.
Mhm.
$10 million for all the roads is probably gonna be closer to $18 million once they get into the bases. If we put a special assessment in for that one time, you're looking at about $4,200 for a special assessment per owner.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been talking to people,
So-
I said if it's 5,000, we would take 5,000. Now, again, you're not gonna do it all at one time, so do it over 2 or 3 years.
Okay, but.
And then that reduces that.
But let me just go through this. The life of a road is 15 to 20 years. So do you want to continue to battle this problem and kick the can down the road for future owners?
Somewhere, you got to start somewhere.
Well,
Can
Take care of that. But it's gonna make people upset and it's gonna slow down the sales in our community.
I personally, I think what's going to slow down the sales in the community more and hurt homeowners more is we start losing lakes all these people that live in the coves can't get their boats out because the lakes can't be dredged.
I get
You're,
that.
you're gonna need a off-road vehicle to be able to drive to your house through the roads. I mean, it's gonna cost people, you know, way more than 1%. You're gonna be able. Well, I get it. I get it.
Well, so can I ask you a question, not you specifically, but representing realtors? You said that Raintree is no longer considered an elite community.
It's not.
And I'm not talking about you personally, I'm just saying, could you give us an opinion from all the realtors that other communities have stepped it up and bypassed us? Meaning they have better
They
amenities.
have better
or-
security, they have better roads.
So how do they pay for all of that?
They're set, well, you guys.
Are there assessments?
And I know you guys try to get them raised, but our assessments are one of the lowest in Jefferson County. You know, that's one reason why there. We have very low assessments.
So it seems like- So it seems like.
I said 100, I meant 200.
Every time I get it, we have some.
Yeah.
Really. As a result, we're reaping the benefits of having low assessments for so long, yet people don't want to have any kind of a resolution or
And then she gave some rubber all over.
what you call it, a ballot item to increase anything. I don't understand.
Well, and again,
Where are we gonna come-
is not because of what you guys are doing, but.
No, I'm not saying you personally, but what personally, I'm saying the realtor community, what do we need to do to become that elite community again? We need better.
I mean.
Okay, Kim, let me say one thing on both parts, the 1%, which you kind of already know where that's going, but the 1% was not just to get money into the assessments, but, or the general fund, but that money was gonna be driven strictly for roads and infrastructure and the lake and things like that. So you probably didn't get to read the whole thing or hear about it. It was also gonna eliminate COLA if we brought more money in through that 1%, so you would never pay COLA. The other thing that my plan is, whether or not I go through with it or not, is everybody pays monthly, whether it's a lot or a home. You pay one price, whether you got 1 lot or 5 lots, so there's no more 46% discount. You pay the $100 or $150 a month if you own a house, and if you got 5 lots, you pay $150 a month. A lot owner the same way. You can't own more than 5. If you own more than 5, then you got to jump up and pay the other $150. But this eliminates COLA, eliminates the 46%, it cleans up the covenants, and it gives us an average of anywhere between $1 and $2.5 million that we're not getting now. If that's the case, in 3 years, we could knock out the lake. We could get the 1.5, get it taken care of, and in 5 years, the infrastructure's here, and we're basically just renting it at that point. And you start working on the roads. I mean, like, I don't know, Denny's probably more familiar with it or than I am. We could easily spend $1 million a year and not get caught up for at least probably 8 years. But this 100 or 150 and 50 for a lot, if you pay it every month, you eliminate the COLA, you eliminate all this joined lot crap that's in the covenants, and everybody pays the same fee, whether you got a house in 1 lot or 3 lots or 5 lots. And it would be so much simpler. You haven't voted on it yet. Hey, them sellers are buying. They stole a TV from me when I sold my house.
Communities to choose from, and they're choosing those communities.
I don't disagree with you, but I still think Raintree is the cream of the crop in Jefferson County. Lisa, you had a question or comment?
Well, know that this is a community that has some fabulous filters here. There's a lot of realtors that live in this community. You can use us, form a committee, and we can tell you what all of these other subdivisions are paying. They're paying so much more than we are. We can get a baseline of what 4 amenities, just get 4, that you want us to do research on. 4 of your top amenities. We, as realtors, can go out, we can get all that information, bring it back to you and say, this is what St. Louis is paying in our metropolitan area for special assessments and HOAs. If you have that information, and we can promote it within all of our residents that we need to belly up and pay, we can help you with that, but we have to form a committee.
Well,
Let's make realtors involved. in
why don't we do this as a start? I don't wanna drag on, but you give me a list of what realtors you want in, that wanna be in it.
There's a lot.
There might be some you don't want. Yeah, grab a list of whoever you want. You let me know what you need and I'll hand deliver this myself to whatever we need. And we'll have a town hall and we'll invite everybody and we'll have everybody here and we'll see what it takes, because this, what I just brought to you, I mean, not only does it give us what we need forever, but it also eliminates a lot of fees. You don't buy a boat sticker no more. You don't buy a golf sticker no more. You don't have to rent the, well, John don't agree with this, but you don't have to rent the campground anymore. You don't have to rent the pavilion. All of that is included in $50 a month or $150 a month. And
I think that's a great, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
But would that be a special assessment?
no, that'd be it every year.
Get away from the yearly one.
No annual assessment.
Yeah,
No longer
get a
than the
monthly-
yearly
you never pay, the only thing you can pay annually on would be the country club.
And I just want to say that you all help us a lot by promoting things. You know, there's people that come to all the board meetings and stuff like that. And the more that we can have you all supporting what we're doing, the better, because we're only a group of 9. You know what I'm saying? And like, we learned that not a lot of people listen to the recordings or what goes on at the board meeting, but you can promote whatever we're trying to do.
And honestly, by having a real estate committee working with you guys, I mean, say, but people listen to us realtors because they consider us the experts in the community. So we can also not only help you gather the information, but help you spread the information around.
And we're gonna
There's
elect you
9
to the
openings
board.
right now.
We're gonna elect you to the board too.
No,
All in favor? Linda, go ahead.
I'm not quite sure on it all, but is this what you just said? Do a town hall meeting, let a group of realtors come together and present to us. You all promote it as just a regular town hall meeting, but they're the experts and the presenters. Because yes, I think that would bring people in to hear about the value of our properties from these experts who have just shared all that information that we're no longer the elite. And a lot of people are gonna go elsewhere, and therefore our property values are going to die, they already are probably, if we hear it from the experts.
but
And
we
not-
want it to be ongoing too, not just a one time.
No, I
We
agree.
would be part, we'd be around.
I'm just saying to present
Yeah.
it, to break the ice of people, wake up. You know, we're in a world of hurt here, and these people know it because they're out in the world seeing it.
And this
And
is
that's
what
what's
we're
gonna
gonna
help
do.
all of these people go. That would help, I think, everyone go, oh, that's not just the board saying we want more money. You know, this is a real thing of why we need more money, because you're out in the, whatever it's called, the trenches, the front line, whatever it is, out in the world, where you experience it and you know it, so I would like to hear it.
And I apologize, the gentleman sitting next to Dave, I don't know.
John or
But
Steve?
you, John, but you said 4,200. I had a $5,000 amount, so 4,200. And again, you can spread that over a couple of years, but oh my God. I think if our roads were gonna be prepared, we knew that exactly where that money was going. I think you get a lot more people that would say yes, than just, increase and, you know.
Hang on, let's move on. I want to get through these committee reports. We can address this in open forum and people can leave if they want.
Okay, real quick with administrative reports, they've been reserving the pavilion and campgrounds that started March first. So that's always a busy time. They've been selling the stickers for boat and golf carts and all of that, scanning property owner information into Rever, so they've started that. Transitioning vendor and ACC procedures into Rever, and then they're assisting board members as needed. So that's what our office staff is doing.
Mr. Haller, I didn't even see you sitting out there. How you doing, man?
Very good.
Good, good.
Good.
Glad to see you.
Alright.
Sorry, Tilly.
Okay, oh, we're good.
Architectural control.
We're gonna resume meeting in person, in April. We had just 6 projects this month. The one was the variance that we voted on. The other 5 projects were replacing a driveway, a sidewalk, putting in a patio and a sidewalk, a retaining wall, which was a replacement retaining wall, I believe, fence swing set and a fence. So it's been pretty slow with the ACC.
I love them kind of reports. Events oversight.
I think we've only had 2 applications, that was both from the HOA. 2 requests. Both approved.
Yeah, I don't know if they got I don't know if I copied you guys on that or, Judy Brown wants to do the trash pickup. Did I forward it to you guys?
I haven't seen that.
I will get it to you. She asked if they could put it down at the back of the boat ramp.
Okay, we'll figure it
Everybody, so it picks up trash and then we throw it down there and if you got any crap, you can throw it in there. But they used to put it up in the clubhouse and then everybody in Jefferson County would show up, so.
And this is picking up the roads, not people bring stuff in their house.
That depends. We
It's the cleanup of the community.
mostly the roads and the
Okay.
gutters and.
Yeah, just send it to us.
All right. I tentatively approve it because we have in the past, but
Okay.
I'll send it to you guys.
The POA generally pays for it now too.
Well, we get that as part of our contract, so that's why we do it. So if we get, I think we get it twice a year, but maybe we only use it once.
Smoke trash or.
Yeah.
Haul off.
Lakes and beaches.
This report was generated a couple of weeks before all that stuff came together, but basically we explored mechanical dredging and learned that it's very, very expensive. We have no way of estimating how much it will cost until we know how much we're getting, whatever we have in the lakes, hence the biosys evaluation is coming, plus we're kind of worried about what might be in that organic material. We do have the biosys, the bathymetric evaluation, water, et cetera, coming March 25th and 26th. As you know, the lake treatment was approved, including Spring Lake by Dave Tucker, so that will start next month. We have approved grass carp, the porta potties, and the beach sand. I think that's everything. We're pretty much covered it.
What's the status on the rent station? Are we getting?
Haven't even looked at we've been, the committee has been overwhelmed trying to figure out these other things, but we do have someone who frequents the beach on the committee, and hopefully we'll get to that and some other things that we want.
Linda, so far, there need to be more hang tags, so this year, to get the money to match what the one quote that we're able to secure last year was.
Thanks. Maintenance.
Maintenance, let's see, replaced real estate office entry door and toilets are prepared for new renters. Are they in yet?
Yep. Got first round agreement.
Nice. Cleared blockages from culverts, removed tree limb debris and large amounts of leaves from ditch lines. They're checking out their mowers and small engine tools, getting ready for the summer growing season. Performed routine maintenance and repairs on vehicles. How's that dump truck oil leak?
Haven't heard back. We just got it in today.
Okay. If anyone has any ideas you will see that needs attention, please fill out a work order and we will assess what can be done. That's all I got.
Thanks, Steve. Roads, anything?
No, that's me.
Look, then he was doing roads, no?
Well, he's the co-chair.
No. Okay,
So,
John.
He didn't want to do the report, so. You know, the one update I will give you from the past, we talked about some of the road challenges earlier is, it appears that we're gonna need to do some repairs to Autumn and Spring Lake dams, for the DNR to approve the certification again, so. Steve and Tom got some, preliminary quotes. Denny's working on getting the other one that's needed. There's a couple areas we're watching on. There's the collapsed culvert pipe on Duffer. There's part of Elm Street, part of Forest Drive. But at the moment, there's no money in this budget for the roads because the assessment didn't pass last year. So, I'd say it again, whatever comes out on this ballot for roads or a different assessment process, talk it up and get it passed because, we can't. I don't know that there's anybody ever planted a money tree in Raintree, but I haven't found it yet, so.
All right, thanks, John.
I'll be there to harvest it.
Is it seamless?
Those are all rules.
And I think there was only one censure sent out, within the past month. It was for a dog that was being walked off a leash. The updates were done to the rules manual. The two things that were talked about through the rules meeting was the minor enforcement policy, which is gonna probably be tabled until fall, or indefinitely unless, one of the members can talk to the sheriff's department and see if it's even gonna be legally enforceable to do here, or to put even a rule in there, making kids pretty much pay for the damages by doing community service in the neighborhood. And then the other one was, enforcing stickers on everybody's cars. We're gonna hold off on that most likely until the security thing is figured out, because I don't know if we're doing RFID or if we're doing something else, and right now it's just a lot. And trying to enforce it anyways is just gonna be too much at the moment, so. There's a lot of discussion on it. There was a lot of disagreements on wanting to table any of those. But unfortunately, right now, we have to look at what's most important, so. That's all.
Thank you very much. Gary, just for your reference, $235,000 for 1 mile of road,
Without the base,
and there's 41 miles.
without the base.
Checks in the mail. Glenn, security.
All right, the committee's gonna meet late this week or early next week to really firm up some suggestions. We've got 4 bids on the mega tower gate arms right now. And they range, each tower gate arm ranges from 5,200 to as low as 3,900. So we're leaning to suggest 2 mega tower replacements, or at least purchase the 2 and then have that when they fail. We are getting a demo license plate reader gate control, and we are going to start testing that. And currently, the committee's not a super fan of the standalone Flock security cameras. So we're shelving that for a while, but we'll discuss in this next meeting. I think the next item is really important. I think we do need a full-time projector and camera system in that meeting room there to live stream and be able to easily share documents and presentations.
Hey Glenn, one thing I'd like to add to it is, depending on the cost of that, there were 37 people viewed the February board meeting. 36 viewed 31 viewed the Clean Flow presentation, 36 viewed the January Lakes and Beaches meeting, 68 viewed the January board meeting, 54 viewed the November board meeting. So, I mean, we're not getting a whole lot of of usage out of what we're already doing. Now, I don't have any live stream numbers at all that I have access to, but, you know, I think we may wanna try to find out, you know, how many people were joining via live stream, because, you know, if we're not getting the turnout of this, you know, is it worth the investment?
And when you say review, you mean listen to?
At least opened it.
Oh, well, it's called.
Yeah, and I do think the
They would-
audio
they would
quality
listen to it.
is poor, so it's hard to stick with it.
If we could get better audio quality around this, I think that would certainly be helpful.
I do too.
I guess it all depends what does it cost. I just wanted to share.
I also think, you know, when we do a live, just the live stream or the recording of like your financial report, it is not simple just to sit and listen to that report. It'd be nice to have a document on screen and go through it. I think that would be helpful.
What about, I tell people all the time, go look at stuff through YouTube. That wouldn't be included in these numbers.
That's where I pulled it
That
from.
is
is
those?
YouTube.
Wow.
That is from YouTube.
I was hoping you would say that.
All right, that was security technology. Kind of the same story.
Oh, yeah, that's
Nothing by
always,
environment.
right now, it's a combined report. And I think we should, in the future, just combine the two committees. But we'll leave that for a motion.
All right. I will now make a motion for adjournment.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Open forum.
If we participate,
You can. Hang on one second, Kathy. Okay,
I just wonder if we have any kind of a rule against, about regarding solicitation, because this Coleman,
Yes.
this Coleman Tree Company, I can't tell you how many of their little things I rolled up, that I pulled out of the lake. They're all floating around the lake, but I think they put one on everybody's mailbox, like they did, and I was okay with that, that was a year ago or something, but a realtor last weekend threw somehow a thing got into my yard that had chocolate in it, my dog ate the chocolate, dogs and chocolate don't do well, and I don't know why we have people passing out things in Raintree, I think.
it is a violation.
On every gate. Page 23, the rules manual.
Okay,
No soliciting in Raintree without permission of the POAs.
okay, then I'm gonna,
Eye for an eye.
should I contact that person?
Yeah, you want, or you can send it to me and I'll call them.
Okay. Yeah, cause I mean, I don't know how it got in my yard, but
I'll get you next, Jerry. Kathy. Oh, hang on. Nancy, you want to?
Well, it was a bag of chocolates and it was thrown in your yard.
I don't know, we were gone, but
Mine were hung on my door. Did anyone else get a bag of chocolates on their door?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's a bag of chocolates, and
Yeah.
the realtor's name was on it, and said, happy to.
You have an apple order and you can talk to the realtor yourself, you know, that'd be fine. He lives in Raintree, so we'll shoot a lot of us going.
Way to go, Kim. Kathy, go ahead. $4,500 it is, I think, right? Or 5,500, what was it? 5,600, it's gonna be about 6,000.
Okay, we're using.
6,000. We're gonna use about 6,000.
Right. Um,
2,300, 2,300, something like that.
We're going a little over. I think it's 2266 or 2366, and we're,
2345 is what I wrote down.
no, that's what we're proposing.
Band budget is 2276.
Yeah, but we're going
Okay,
100.
so you're gonna watch, so basically you've got 2,300 of the porta potty that you're not using.
Correct.
Oh, it'll be, we'll fix fix the road with it, or we'll.
Okay, may I make this, may I finish?
2,300 if I can fix any.
But when you say we're not using it, we use every cent.
I understand that, and that's what I'm standing here for. Okay, it's on the lakes and beaches, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so why can't you use the 2,300 to go towards the fish that you're not gonna order? Because I think you're doing a big disservice to fishermen in Raintree. You're already asking them to pay $100. You're already asking them to pay $100 to put their boat on. There's fishermen out on every single lake. At least 5 times a day, or I'm sorry, 5 times a week.
All right, my apologies if I misspoke. We're not buying game fish this year. We're
Right.
buying.
Right, and that's my
Well,
problem.
because we're looking at the long-term health of the lakes and trying to get the lakes.
And I appreciate that.
We know that getting the health, good health is gonna cost us a lot of money, so we'd rather hold that money
Okay,
back.
so.
There's plenty of fish.
Why would you hold back with something that a lot of people in this community?
Well, the bass are the biggest,
That's,
the bass are one, and this will come out next month, but we probably need to start harvesting about 3 out of every 5 bass in a slot between 12, it could be probably 10 and 15 inches. That's what the Department of Conservation is saying. We have too many fish right now and they're stunted.
not all of them, not, there's.
Well, we're getting, this will all be part of next month, but we're getting, the Department of Conservation to come out and shock our lakes and give us a fish census. I'll have a lot more information for you. I don't think that adding fish right now is the right thing to do.
Don't you have fish every year?
No,
When's the last time you didn't?
2 years ago, there was fish.
well, we only put, what is it, crappie, you only put in every other year.
We haven't put in crop yet for a few years.
Okay, so.
This is this is a fish biologist telling us what to do.
And I understand that, okay, but. I mean. You know, I sit here and I hear about the lakes and beaches and I hear about your dredging, and yes, they're all amenities, but so is fishing. Fishing is one of the amenities, and if you don't keep it up, there's gonna be a lot of.
Well, that's what's part of this study.
We're trying to get the long term, it's not tomorrow we're worried about, we're worried about making the lakes better long.
I never said it was, but
Okay, now I'm sorry, I'm just not understanding what you're saying.
you're ordering, you're only ordering grass carp.
Yes.
Correct? Right,
Yes.
that's why I'm asking you. to
Well, because the
use
Department of
money-
Conservation felt that's what we should do. I'm sorry. But
To use the money for game fish.
we were advised not to do that by the fish biologist in the Missouri Department of Conservation.
And what was their reasoning?
Because we have stunted fish already. We have fish
You
that are
only
eating.
mentioned bass, we have bluegill, crappie.
I don't
Or
know.
did they
I'm
say all of
I'm gonna
them?
ask him to come and do a town hall too after he gets the evaluation done.
Okay. I'm
I
sorry,
don't think I can answer your question.
There's a lot of restricted people. For lack of a better term.
We have too many fish, but they're stunted. We need to thin our fish out, not add more to it. There's so many fish that, and
Okay,
there's so little cover for them that they're eating their own fry, so they're eating their own offspring. And that's why every bass you catch is right here. Now, somebody caught a monster last weekend.
Fish fry Friday night.
Probably all of them. It depends on what he says when he comes out here, but for certain, we need to do it on Autumn Lake and probably Spring Lake, because we have heaps of fish in this slot.
could you ask whoever this person is to contact me and my husband? Because we'd be very interested in.
You know what, I'm not gonna ask him to contact a bunch of individuals. I'm gonna ask him,
Can you get together with them? Can you include us and, you know, because we're very interested.
Well, Ken's gonna get a town, see if he can get a town hall
Yeah, that's
for him,
what
and
I
then you
do.
can ask him anything you want, Ken.
that's what we're doing as a committee. If you have some questions you'd have, like, or please submit them to me. We'll
Because
ask them.
because we've actually heard opposing things from conservation, from people with conservation, so.
Okay, but, please call me or send me an email or something.
Okay.
Laura,
Could we please get the budget that you guys just approved published somewhere so the Raintree property owners can also know what you're spending the money on, since it's our money that you're spending?
When you pass the assessment, then I'll publish it.
yes, we
Yes, we
Yeah.
can do.
Just intent, if you're going to limit what fish or increase what fish you want out of the lake, to update the rules section.
Yeah, we'll have to, in the signage at the, like, we've looked at all that. We're not ready to do it yet.
Okay, just because I've reviewed the rules manual very closely today, and there's like, you can only have this many fish.
There'll be a
You can
moratorium,
only have this many fish.
there'll be a moratorium on all of that, so that we can get our lakes healthy.
Lisa, quiet, please.
Thank you.
I just wanted to raise a suggestion that if there's any more useful. I would treat. Land lease attached to that. Now land lease stays with that. And every month. They pay something on that land to your association.
We tried that, but the land that we were selling to him to put a lease on it was way less than the amount we would owe to him that we have property that he gives us for free. I don't know what it is, but that was the statement he made, that if we're gonna charge him, he's gonna charge us, and the amount we would get charged was way more than the amount we were gonna regain.
Oh, maybe something to study if there's more land, because it seems like there is a lot of land that's being by Braintree. And it's just sitting there and we're not getting money that maybe we could.
Well, there's no land owned by Raintree other than Common Ground right now.
The common grant one that's over by the camp or the condos, that big hill.
They used to be the driving range.
Yeah, that's no tax due type of land. I don't know.
Can we put any money on that? Is there any way we
Well,
can
the
make
13 acres are in the floodplain, so you
Right.
can't do nothing with that. I had mentioned about trying to sell it to a contractor to build more condos over there, but now those pickleball courts are going in there and it's gonna kind of hinder what you can do over there. I think there was a reason why he got rid of it.
We use it, can there be some spots that there are house like boat trailers, RVs, something to bring in some revenue.
We had talked about that. It's just a situation where you got a bunch of traffic now in front of a bunch of property or homeowners or condo owners. We can look at that if you guys got in this meeting about the assessments, if you got ideas with that land. We're not hanging on to it for any reason.
It's just, let's try to do something. And it might work.
I think it was prohibitive at the time. To what money we had to be able to. Cause the land's not flat over there, there's no lights, no security, nothing, so, you know. And to improve it was more money than we had, so. On it, one of the things that, you know, it was just something that came up in brainstorming was. You know, this is nothing other than a brainstorming thought, so let me be clear, this was. The campground is, you know, the campground generated. Just under $5,000 of revenue last year, and from what I hear. You know, everything around us, you can't even get a spot to put your boat or your trailer or anything in the winter was. You know, and that's got power, it's got. Lights down there, it's got security cameras, maybe we need to put a gate across it, but. You know, maybe that was a way to generate money was, you know, on that, and, you know, I don't know. The usage of the campground, you know, the number of spots versus how often it's rented over the summer, but. The other thing that you could potentially do is. I don't know all the logistics, but maybe it's something that could be used for storage over the winter months when nobody's camping, because the campground gets closed.
That's what a lot of 4-H companies do, they rent it out to cars and boats.
When we close the camp.
October 31st,
Till the 31st, so November.
5 months
yeah,
out of it.
November through the time we open it up in the year, but those were some, cause that one wouldn't need a lot of improvement to be able to utilize it,
I agree.
from that, but,
The issue, one thing with that driving range area is you gotta be careful what you put there, cause you could offer another access into Raintree unless you put another security gate up or some kind of fencing down there, because I think what I've heard is there's a cut through already down there. Doesn't that climb over to, is it Forest or Waterford?
You're
or-
talking about over by the campgrounds?
No, down by the old driving range.
I'm
Don't that cut through to
It cuts through to,
Forest?
Lake Crest.
Lake Crest? We just gotta, I mean, if you got an idea.
Lake Ridge, sorry,
Lake Ridge, I'm more than willing to run it by somebody.
I appreciate you guys having this on recording, because honestly, I can't come up here and sit and listen to this meeting over 3.5 hours. I just can't do it. But I listen, I'm one of those 54 people. I am one of those. I appreciate that microphone. I appreciate the quietness. I appreciate all of you guys. But that's how I get my information about this community. So thank you for doing that.
Hopefully we can enhance that system.
Can you pinpoint how many of those 54 realtors? That is a bunch. I bet that's the main audience.
The one thing I do remember off the winter months, when they're doing all the removal of the snow, was people were parking on the road. If we could utilize that, we could pay as monthly for housing, whatever we have. I think it's a way we can generate some of them.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody can figure out a way to put a parking lot in here, I make $7,000 a month renting out RVs, boats, trailers, cranes, concrete trucks, dump trucks. So I know there's money involved in it.
Will we have to increase our insurance?
I don't think so. They're already parking in front of a house.
Yeah.
They're on a street or who knows where.
You're not insuring the contents.
Yeah.
I don't know. Park at your own risk.
Yeah. Oh, I do have one thing. I did get a letter from Becky Maxwell. And basically she wanted to express her thoughts against the 1% buyer fee. So I wanted to make sure I got a letter. She wasn't able to make it to the meeting, but I wanted to make sure that, and it's pretty much everything that you all said, so I'm not gonna read hers entirety, but it's pretty much what you all had said.
I have one question. Several years ago, my husband was on the board and Braintree purchased some land on the back for a possible another gate. Do we still own that land? Could we
Yes.
turn around and sell that?
Problem I've heard with that is it's in a floodplain and we can't do anything with it other than like your husband and I talked to him about it, about trying to put another. His point was to try to make a back entrance to Raintree, which puts fear in my life, but it's a possibility, but if they, raise that land up so it's not a floodplain, he was talking about putting a dry creek bridge across somewhere. I'm not that familiar with it, but I think Tom and them use it to dump a bunch of brush and stuff back there, so we still own it.
And I think the object with the other gate at the time, if I remember, was resident only gate. So that like on the holidays and times that we pull in and we're backed up, a mile down the road, that we have an entrance to come into, that we don't have to worry about all of that. But I do remember that it's in a floodplain now. So it'll
Yeah.
take a lot to.
The monthly assessment would probably take care of that. Anybody else?
It's supposed to be.
Oh, sorry, Jerry. Jerry, Jean after Kathy. Okay. Hold on, you've had your share tonight.
Yeah. One thing, I found an error in the covenants on 2J. It has in there, no residence shall be wholly or partly covered with tar paper or canvas and no tent. It says no tents.
Who's got a tent?
Well, we can have, it's been changed.
They did.
You can camp in your backyard.
What is it?
What's it say?
What's the letter?
2J.
Have we had anybody violated yet?
I did, I was looking for something and I came across that.
No, but it was, we changed it so that you could, like your grandkids came down or something, you could camp in your backyard for two, I think it was limited to 2 nights. and
2
some-
days. 2 days, you can get a tent. And then, or 3 days, I think.
3 days and 2 nights, I think.
Yeah. And then the other thing I had a question was about the registration sticker on your car. Okay, the registration sticker on your car has always been, and in the covenants, is that the registration sticker is to identify that you are a Raintree property owner.
Boy, I'm so glad you brought this up. I've been waiting 30 days for this.
Okay. If you are going to use that registration sticker as a, to be able to park at the beach. And you're gonna charge people $25 for a registration sticker, you are gonna have to put that on a ballot. Because this is in the covenants. You cannot change the covenants without putting it before the membership.
Jerry, let me ask you a question. What board and what year did they charge $2 for the sticker? Because that's when it started. Last year only changed the price of the sticker.
Yeah, I don't think.
So the sticker price is not in the covenant. It's not governed by the covenant on it.
But you're changing the covenant.
What, read the covenant?
You're putting in there that 70, you're gonna charge the people $75 or $25 for them to retain this sticker, which is the property owner's identification sticker, which is supposed to be for the people that live in Raintree. Every car that lives in Raintree is supposed to have one, and it was for security purposes, so that people would know, that you would know that this person, this car is supposed to be in here. If there was something going on, we used to have patrols that they knew that this car, if it didn't have a sticker on it, they know that car's not supposed to be in here.
2J doesn't.
That
have
was
anything
why
to do-
they were doing it. That's why we always had them,
Okay, let me,
from the very beginning.
let me
If
go.
you're gonna add in there, if you're gonna add something into a covenant, you have to take it before the membership. That's with any of the covenants. If you're gonna add something into it, to change it, you have to take it before the membership.
Like John said, did you find it or not? There's not a price associated with that. So the rules allow you to change prices, lower them, take them away, add them, as long as we're not violating the covenant by saying this can be done, and we say, no, it can't be done by a rule. So we're just changing the price, but let me get to the crux of the story here. The last time, or when $2 a sticker was implemented, was when you had a guard sitting in the shack up here. When we decided to go this new route, or not we, when the people spoke to us and said they want to spend $25 to be able to park at the beach, and then if the covenants violated their own self because you couldn't charge, and it said you didn't have to have a sticker, and then it said you did. I don't know when the last time was that we actually sent a censure for somebody without a sticker, but prior to us eliminating the sticker, 30% of the people bought a sticker that should have bought, that had vehicles in this subdivision, whether it be 1, 2, or 10. So that being said, who's to enforce that? Our own attorney said this board is not a policing board. If somebody runs into drives through your garage door, they don't have a sticker on it, you can report it. But it is not our responsibility to drive around and look for people that don't have stickers on their windshields. That hasn't been enforced since the guard shack guy was eliminated. And it was eliminated probably because of the cost. So I don't care how you want to come up with it, whether it be RFID, whether it be license plate cameras, whether it be the monthly payments, gets a guard in that shack again. I don't care how we do it, but until we figure out a way to enforce it, we're throwing money down the drain.
Well, I know a lot of people won't buy the identification stickers because of the cost of it.
Is this something that just came out of the rules meeting?
No.
What identification sticker are we referring to?
There's
Ag
no
tag?
sticker that goes in the window.
Well, yeah, I mean,
You don't have to buy it.
yeah, that's only gives you permission to park at the beach.
What I'm saying is the little identification sticker that says that you are a property owner in Raintree, that you live here. Everybody always had those. Yes, Dave.
No, not everybody.
No.
I just told you the numbers, 30% of the people bought them.
From the very beginning of
30%
time,
of the people bought them,
you always had them.
but only 30%.
Once the guard,
You got them when. You got 'em.
once,
That was back in 1802.
Yeah.
my point exactly, once the guard left, that was not being enforced, even if they were buying them. Let's just say 90% of the people bought them, 10% of the people were getting off scot-free. Ryan Reeves you in a minute.
I'm sorry. But I just don't, I don't know, I just know a lot of, so, and they're old timers too, and they're like, why should I pay $25 for that sticker that I never.
Shouldn't, they shouldn't unless they're gonna go hang out at the beach parking lot
Yes.
or the boat ramp. Or the boat ramp.
Vote right. Otherwise, we don't have to buy it all.
We've been through this, we've been through this at other meetings.
Jerry Jean, that, what Linda just told you, that's the way it's been for probably 40 years. It's just nobody caught it. John actually found it in the covenant, said it contradicts each other. That's why we eliminated it, and people that parked on at the beach wanted a way to control the beach parking lot. I believe that was what it was for, wasn't it, Linda?
That's very different.
Well, that too.
There was some discussion about maybe we shouldn't allow guests to go to the beach.
Right.
And I'm immediately like, this is what happens.
Not park. Well,
Brought up, but it wasn't officially.
No, it was like, please, let's not do
I
that.
wasn't at last month's meeting, but when somebody said you put them stickers out there just to raise money, hell, yes, we did. I don't know what other reason we would have done it other than to raise money. And that's as plain, as simple as I can say it.
That's not the only reason why.
That's your own.
Well,
See you later, man.
We're on mute. We on mute.
Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, these are updated. I think, Mark, and I think you're up to date and